We have go for main engine start. 8, 7, 6. We have main engine start. 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
400 kilometers above the Earth, a human being floats in silence. Below them, continents drift past like pages turning in a book without words. They are weightless. They are safe. And yet, something inside them is quietly, irreversibly changing. Space does not only act on the body, it acts on the mind. And the mind, as it turns out, was never designed to leave the ground. The first change often arrives through the window. Astronauts call it the overview effect. A cognitive shift, sudden and overwhelming, that occurs the moment a human being sees the Earth whole. Borders vanish. Nations dissolve into geography. The thin blue shell of the atmosphere reveals itself for what it truly is. A fragile membrane, no thicker than the skin of an apple, holding everything we have ever loved. Many astronauts weep, some pray. Nearly all of them return transformed, carrying a quiet conviction that the Earth is both more precious and more vulnerable than we dare to admit. It is, perhaps, the closest thing we have to a modern revelation. But awe is only one of the minds space can reveal. Inside the station, the walls are close. The air is recycled. The same faces, the same corridors, the same humming machinery, day after day after day. Psychologists call it isolation and confinement. A slow pressure that builds in the background of consciousness, testing patience, memory, and mood. Small irritations become mountains. Silence becomes loud. A crewmate's chewing, a misplaced tool, an unanswered message from home, each can carry a weight it was never meant to bear. And then there is the monotony. Space, for all its vastness, can feel astonishingly small. The view outside is breathtaking, but breathtaking things, experienced daily, begin to fade. The senses, deprived of novelty, begin to dull. Taste weakens in microgravity. Smells flatten. The body, floating, forgets the ordinary language of gravity, the press of a chair, the weight of a cup, the gentle reassurance of the ground. Astronauts speak of craving texture, the feel of grass, the sound of rain, the simple, grounding miracle of wind against the skin. Even time itself begins to come apart. On the International Space Station, the sun rises and sets 16 times each day. 16 dawns, 16 dusks. A new morning every 90 minutes. The human circadian rhythm, tuned over millions of years to a single turning world, has no framework for this. Sleep fractures, hormones drift. The internal clock, unmoored, searches for a horizon it can no longer find. Crews rely on artificial lighting, rigid schedules, and sheer discipline to impose a rhythm the cosmos refuses to provide. The brain, too, begins to change. Without gravity to pull fluids downward, they pool toward the head. Intracranial pressure rises. The shape of the brain shifts within the skull. Ventricles expand. White matter rearranges itself in subtle, measurable ways. Vision blurs in some astronauts. Others report lapses in attention, in memory, in the fine motor precision they once took for granted. The organ that evolved to navigate a world of weight is learning, imperfectly, to live without it. And sometimes, in the silence outside the spacecraft, something stranger still takes hold. They call it the breakaway phenomenon, a euphoria that sweeps over astronauts during spacewalks, a sudden, intoxicating sense of detachment from the Earth, from the mission, from the self. Some describe it as peace, others as a quiet temptation. the sense that one could simply let go, drift outward, and be absorbed into the dark. It is beautiful, and it is dangerous. A reminder that the human mind, pushed far enough from home, can begin to mistake the abyss for a doorway. These are the known effects, the measurable ones, the ones we have learned from 6-month tours on a station still tethered to Earth by constant resupply and constant communication. Mars will offer none of those comforts. A journey to Mars will take months. Signals from home will lag by minutes. The Earth itself will shrink to a pale blue dot, indistinguishable from the stars. No rescue, no quick return. Only the crew, the machine, and the long dark between worlds. What happens to the human mind when the Earth becomes a memory? We do not yet know. We are about to find out. And perhaps this is the deepest truth space has to teach us: that the mind is not separate from the world that shaped it, that our sense of self is woven quietly and completely from gravity and sunlight, from seasons and soil, from the faces of the people we love. To leave the Earth is to discover how much of the Earth we carry inside us, and to look back at it, small, blue, alone in the immense dark, is to understand, perhaps for the first time, that we were never truly explorers of space. We were always and only explorers of ourselves.